Welcome to Trainz. Hello, 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 hello. Hello there, friends. We're going to take a look at a Corgi diecast bomber. This is a short Stirling bomber from World War II. It is the Corgi AA39503. Price time filming is $196.34. And if you're looking for this particular guy on the website, the Trainz SKU is P12353328. So let's put this big box down and see what we've got inside. Now this is a 1:72 scale aircraft. It is diecast. It's made by Corgi. And like I mentioned, it's modeling the short Stirling, which was Britain's first four-engine bomber designed for World War II. Before that, the RAF did have a four-engine bomber, but it was a World War I design that had been built as late as the 1920s. So this is the first modern four-engine design. So let's take a look in here. We can see it's nice and safe inside of its styrofoam. We've got the plane itself, stand pieces, and some additional details. So let's carefully take it out of the box and see what we got. So this one has been modeled and painted for the RAF Squadron 218. Oh, this is heavy because this is metal. Oh, look at that. So of Britain's four-engine bombers, this is the only one that was designed from the outset to be a four-engine aircraft. The others, the Avro Lancaster and the Halifax, I think it was, they were initially two-engine designs that were then expanded into four-engine designs. And if you look, there's a great Wikipedia article on those three bombers, and they have a comparison. They kind of have the outline of the plane, right? Now, all three of them have the same wingspan, but the short Stirling, even though it's made by the Short brothers, is definitely the longest of the bunch. But even though it was the biggest, due to the construction of its bomb bay, it was limited to the smaller bombs that were available. So it's kind of weird. It's like having a big four-wheel drive pickup truck, but only using it to go to the grocery store and back. All right, so let's take out our base, which, oh, that's metal. I was expecting plastic for some reason, but that is metal. Now let's take out the next piece, which is also, the whole thing is metal. Nice, and it's got a little bit of adjustment there. Not much, but I guess if you have this almost $200 bomber, you don't want it to flop out of the cradle here. So let's take it back out of the protective styrofoam and put her in. Move that to the side slightly. Look, oh yeah, look at that. So we've got a nose turret here. We have a glazed area. I guess that would be for the bombardier. The cockpit, which does have a pilot and co-pilot in it. This looks to be like an antenna. This is probably an astrodome for navigation. You see that on the Boeing B-17G models. Their astrodome was kind of on the nose. So you could take star sights when flying at night, because they didn't have GPS back then, obviously. We've got a dorsal turret. Do we have anything on the ventral side? No, but we do have a tail gunner. And all of these turrets, they spin, they move. They even have people in them. Wow, that's a cool detail. Now, as it comes out of the box, the landing gear is retracted, but in the box, it looks like we've got some components here where we can swap out and have the landing gear down. And it's pretty simple. There are little tabs on either side, and these are held in friction fit, right? So you just pop them out, and then the landing gear goes in, and they have tabs as well, or little pegs that go into holes. And there we go. The Tires are plastic, they're not rubber, which is a little bit of a bummer. It would have been nice if they were actual rubber, but maybe they did that so it didn't deform under the weight, because this is a heavy thing. And it also comes with a little retractable section to put down wheels at the back, because this is a tail dragger, of course, being a World War II design. The landing gear is actually an interesting little tidbit about the plane. So the RAF wanted an aircraft limited to a 100-foot wingspan, but they wanted it to take off on a specific type of airfield, right? I think it's like a 500-foot long airfield with 50-foot trees at the end of it, something like that. Because they wanted to be able to use it as widely as possible, which, I mean, if your enemy is bombing all of your airfields, it's nice to have options. The initial design wasn't able to make that requirement. So they're like, okay, either we have to change the angle of the wings relative to the body, or we need to do something else. And they didn't want to change the wing angle because then it would kind of fly nose down, right? And they didn't like that idea. So they kept the wing angle the same, but they extended the length of the landing gear. That's why when it sits on the ground, it has such a nose-up attitude. It's like running around on stilts. Now, it did change the angle of the wing relative to the ground while it was taking off, but on the downside, those big, tall legs made it much easier to fall over, have an accident. Rough landings were a frequent occurrence, rough takeoffs as well. It's unfortunate because, I mean, it's a pretty cool plane otherwise. So here we've got a whole row of bombs on a metal carrier, and we have some more on plastic carriers. While this was the biggest of the 4 engine bombers for the RAF, due to the design of the bomb bay, it was limited to carrying 500-pound normal bombs or 2,000-pound armor-piercing bombs. The structure was such that it couldn't carry the bigger bunker busters, the earthquake bombs, right? So right now we have the bomb bay closed, but there's a little metal tab on either side. We're just going to kick that with our thumb, and off it comes. Then we take our open bomb bay with our nice bombs. There's a little bit of a lip, so that goes in nice and deep, and then you just kind of push it up. And now you've got an open bomb bay. And I wonder if I can do this with the gear down. There are 2 little flap areas for these extras, right? But I think with the landing gear down, there's not enough clearance. So we'll pause for a moment. I'll put it into flight configuration, and then we'll put those in as well. We've switched back to in-flight with gears retracted, and we've got our wing bays here and our main bomb bay here, all opened up, ready to go. Although I do realize I forgot to retract the tail gear, so let's do that real quick. It's got 2 round pieces and a little peg to locate it. And then we just put that one in there just like that. So let's pop it back on the stand. Oh, is she gonna go? Yeah, there we are. So now we are in full flight, gear retracted, bomb bay is open, ready to go. That's really cool. Now, so the Short brothers, the company that made this, they took their Short Sunderland flying boat as the starting point. They did have to kind of crop the wings down in length, but basically the top half of this shares a lot with their flying boat design. They just got rid of the hull, essentially. So that's why, if you take a look at it, the tail kind of comes up at the end. That's a holdover from the original flying boat design. The hull was designed to kind of taper upward so that you wouldn't drag your tail in the water. But this is pretty darn cool. So we have the nice, hefty, solid metal base. We've got lots of details with, I believe these are Bristol Hercules radial engines. All of our little turret people, like I mentioned, bay doors open. This is pretty darn cool. I like it. Now, the short Stirling was introduced in 1940. It flew for the RAF until 1946. From what I was seeing online, Egypt was the last country to use them in a military capacity. They phased them out in 1951. And I didn't mention it earlier, but I do want to mention it now. The markings on this plane, they're not decals, okay? So you don't have to worry about them fading or peeling off or anything like that. They are pad printed. So they are very crisp, especially close up. Very nice. They don't stick up from the surface, you know? So it's another wonderful little bit of detail. And it's hard to see, but there are clear windows in the sides of the fuselage as well. So we'll make sure to give you some close-up details of that. Well, that's all for today. Please like and subscribe if you'd be so kind. And until next time, fly high with a short Stirling.
Trainz.com. Making dreams come true, one train at a time.